I welcome all of you this afternoon to a panel discussion on the topic, Does Goethe Matter? Possibilities of Higher Education and Cultural Sector Collaboration. To shed light on the various aspects of the theme, we have with us from the Goethe Institute, Max Müller Bhavan, New Delhi, Mr. Thomas Gödel, Director Language Programs for South Asia, Ms. Puneet Kaur, Head of Educational Services, Ms. Dipali Bajaj Singh, Head Language Courses and Examinations, and Ms. Sonali Segal, Project Manager for Network Expansion. Welcome our esteemed panelist guests. I request Professor Kenneth Holland, Professor and Dean, Academics, Research and International Affairs, JGU, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Professor Holland.
Thank you, Dr. Shruti. So it's my great pleasure to welcome our distinguished panelists to this very important panel discussion on Does Goethe Matter? Possibilities of Higher Education and Cultural Sector Collaboration. I'm a very strong supporter of the Global Languages Center and its effort to provide opportunities for our students to develop skills in the German language. I myself am a great lover of the German language. I studied German in college, and then in graduate school, I actually took a course at the University of Chicago on German constitutional law taught in German. And I managed to make my way through the course, but I never understood the professor's jokes. So that was a challenge for me. And then when I became an assistant professor, I received a research grant from DAAD to conduct research in German law. And I spent a very delightful summer in Heidelberg conducting my research and also taking many long walks in Heidelberg. And also during the many years I spent in Afghanistan, I worked closely with the German embassy in Kabul, and in particular worked with the University of the Ruhr in Bochum in helping young Afghan teachers earn master's degrees in economics so they could come back and teach their courses with much higher level of ability and scholarship. So I've had many, many years of involvement with Germany and with the Goethe Institute in several countries, and also DAAD. So I just wanted to say to the students who may be listening to the panel discussion today that German is one of the most important languages for all of us. It's the language of philosophy. As Professor Batra knows, I'm a great lover of Nietzsche. And so it's the language of philosophy, it's the language of art, the language of music, the language of science and engineering. So it's truly one of the great world languages. And the Goethe Institute provides an opportunity for students in India to not only master the language, but also to learn about Germany and its great history and its great culture. So again, I want to give my warm welcome to our distinguished panelists, and want to thank Dr. Shruti Jain for organizing this very important discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Holland. Well, I'd like to now briefly discuss the reason why we are here. Before we go on and to the panelists, well, I'd like to also kind of talk about what we are. We are the JGU, right? And we, the JGU, are a relatively young university in Sonipat, Haryana. Despite of our young age, however, we have earned ourselves a very good reputation in the world of higher education. Thanks to the able guidance and energetic leadership of our Vice Chancellor, Professor C. Rajkumar, so many milestones have been achieved. Just recently, in the year 2020, the Ministry of Education, Government of India, conferred to the JGU the status of an institution of eminence. According to the QS World Ranking, University Ranking 2021, JGU has been declared the #1 private university in India. Today we have already 12 schools, more than 8,000 students from all over India abroad, and 900 plus faculty members with excellent educational qualifications. And yet, miles to go before we sleep. The Global Languages Center introduced German in the year 2018, and our students learn German up to the proficiency level of A2 within a span of 8 semesters. Now, coming back to the title of the panel discussion, Does Goethe Matter? Which, as you might have guessed, was meant as a word play, hinting both at the great German thinker and statesman Johann Wolfgang von Goethe and the world-renowned Goethe Institute. I'm reminded of Wilhelm Meister's Lehrjahre, Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship, a novel written by Goethe in the year 1795-96. It's considered to be a treatise on his educational philosophy. He writes, Wehe jeder Art von Bildung, welche die wirksamsten Mittel wahrer Bildung zerstört und uns auf das Ende hinweist, anstatt uns auf dem Wege selbst zu beglücken. Translated in English, woe to any kind of education that destroys the most effective means of true education and points us to the end instead of delighting ourselves on the way. I think despite all efforts, higher education still suffers from what I call the syndrome of postponement of impact. As educators, we impart skills, we impart knowledge. Our efforts somehow remain an effort in anticipation. It remains a discovery of hindsight. In the absence of opportunities of exploring the worth of the knowledge that we impart them, our students are deprived, really, of the joy of the now, joy of the meaning making in the present. So I feel there is a strong need to create an awareness of the relevance of learning German and creating new possibilities of impact while the students are still at the university. It's not about life after the university, the job, this is what you're going to do. It's not about a damit zu, kind of a relationship. What am I doing now? It's of course the classroom teaching that makes a lot of impact there. Apart from that, there are also many other things that actually go along with that. There's a lot of other learning, a lot of things that good infrastructure can bring, for example, good networks can bring, partnerships can bring. It is with this hope of enhancing the experience of the JGU students I turn to you, Goethe Institute, with the hope of a two-way, mutually beneficial, resilient, and sustainable collaboration. With these introductory remarks, I'd like to now invite our first panelist, Mr. Thomas Gödel. Mr. Gödel has over 30 years of professional experience in the area of German as a foreign language. From 1990 to 1999, he undertook various activities as a teacher of German as a foreign language. In 1999, he joined the Goethe Institute as a teaching expert in Minsk. He has since then traveled to Tashkent, Tbilisi, and Sao Paulo, where he was the head of the language department for the region of South America. He came to India in the year 2018 as the regional head and looks after India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. Ich übergebe Ihnen das Wort, bitte, Herr Gödel.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Jain, Professor Holland, Professor Batra. It's really a pleasure for us, for the Goethe Institute, to take part in this panel discussion. And I want to start with a compliment. You made very well in posting a question mark behind Goethe Matters. It was a question, so it was a provocation. So doing this, we could not resist to take part in this, and we now, instead of a question mark, we put an exclamation mark. And for sure, Goethe matters, and we will try to explain to you and to your students why Goethe matters for you in your university as well. And my job as head of the language department will be to give a short overview about the Goethe Institute, who we are, which is our network, and what we are doing here in India. And then my colleagues for sure will go into the details, what is relevant for you, for your university, and our cooperation with your university. So please, Sonali, could you please switch to the next slide? Thank you. Why Goethe matters? Goethe matters because of, maybe it's three things I just want to mention why Goethe matters. The first is our status. We are working on behalf of the German Foreign Office. We promote the study of German abroad and encourage international cultural exchange. So we are working kind of a governmental organization, but we are independent from our German Foreign Office. We are getting some funds from them, but about 35% of our funds we are earning by ourselves. The second point why we are mattering is our quality. We have about 60 years of experience. We are having our 17th anniversary this year. And the first Goethe Institute, which is also interesting, opened in Athens in 1952. And we are now here in India almost for 60 years. We are celebrating 60 years of the Goethe Institute in Bangalore this year. And we had, I think, our 60th anniversary in Delhi already 2 or 3 years ago. So we are the world's leading provider of professional development of German teachers. This is the department Puneet Kaur. She will talk after me about what we are doing in this department. And we are the international market leader for German courses and exams. This is the department Dipali Bajaj Singh is taking care of. So she will talk about this in detail after. So the third point, Sonali already clicked the next, is the size. Size always matters. And maybe now, as we are here in India, you might be a little bit astonished about our size, because maybe in terms of India, it's not as big as you would imagine. But we are a global network. We have 158 Goethe Institutes in 89 countries and 12 of them in Germany. And we have more than 4,000 employees worldwide, which is for a cultural institution a huge number. But maybe for an Indian institution, it seems not so big. But for a European Cultural Institute, it's really big. So maybe we can switch to the next slide, Sonali. I would like to introduce you what already Dr. Jain mentioned. We are here in South Asia, responsible for 6 countries, which is Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. It's always 7, sorry. 7 countries, but maybe in the last time it became kind of only 6 because since 2017, we had to close our institute in Kabul in Afghanistan because there has been a bomb attack on German embassy where our institute has been located. So we were forced to close the Goethe Institute in Kabul. Now we have 18 locations in South Asia, and the most important country, not only in South Asia, but also for the Goethe Institute worldwide, is India, because we have 6 Goethe Institutes in India: New Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and Chennai. And there are only a few other countries in the world where we have such a big amount of institutes. For example, in the Russian Federation, we only have 3, in the biggest country of the world. Or I worked, before I came to South Asia, I worked in Brazil, which is also much bigger than India, but we have only 5 institutes in Brazil. So why is India the most important country for the Goethe Institute worldwide? Because we have the highest numbers of students, we have the highest numbers of exams in a country, and together with the 5 Goethe Zentren in Ahmedabad, Chandigarh, Coimbatore, Hyderabad, and Trivandrum, we have 11 locations, which is the highest number worldwide. So India, for the Goethe Institute, I can repeat it once again, it's the most important country for us. So, and I'm very happy to be taking care of this country here. So please switch to the next slide. I would like to give you some numbers. I told you that India is the biggest country in terms of exams. You can see here 130,000 exams we had, but not only in India, we had in South Asia in 2019. And here you also can see the other so-called Goethe regions. The Goethe Institute is dividing the whole world into 13 regions, and one of them is South Asia. And you can see it here, the highest number, 130,000, has been in SRS, which is South Asia, followed by South East Europe, SOE. And for the first time in 2019, we took the first place in the Goethe ranking, which made us very proud. Then we had the pandemic situation, Corona, 2020, 2019, 2021. And we unfortunately had a lot of lockdowns and we could not provide exams. So in 2020 and 2021, we were not on the first place, but I'm very sure that in maybe 2022, we will be on the first place again, hopefully. So maybe the next slide. Also German courses, you can see again the Goethe regions, and to compare the region is not fair, because in some regions like North America or Northern Europe, we have a less number of institutes, only 8 or 9. And here in South Asia, we have 9, but in Southwest Europe, we have 23, 24 institutes. So the numbers are a little bit difficult to compare, but just to give you an imagination how many people are studying in our German courses here in South Asia, it's about 20,000, 21,000 in 2019, and it was more than 3 million academic hours which we sold to our clients in this record year we had in 2019. And we were really optimistic to have the growth going on the next years. And I'm quite sure that in 2022, 2023, we will get back to these impressive numbers. I think this is already my short overview who we are and what we are doing in brief here in South Asia and in India. And my colleagues will now introduce you what especially we are doing here and what is more interesting for your students than my boring numbers. Sorry for this, but I think to have an impression whom you are talking to is also interesting and necessary. And now the details, and I would like to invite Puneet, who has the details concerning the educational services, which are exactly one of the fields we are cooperating with you and with your university. Puneet, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all. Hello, everybody, and thank you for inviting me. And I'm glad to be here today. For me, it's especially a very special moment. I've been working with your university for some time. Shruti and I have been in touch. Your students are also are one of some of our best clients, I would say. Whenever we have programs, they participate very actively. And one such example, you can see Mr. Gödel, as his background has urban spaces. That's a special project we had this year. And the students of JGU participated very actively in the impulse sessions, as also in the workshops which happened later, because we had some excellent inputs from professors in India and at the Bauhaus University in Germany and Braunschweig University for this. And the JGU students were very, very active. I think I was quite impressed to see the kind of interest they showed. So Shruti, what you said earlier about students learn in anticipation and they have to be given something in the present. I'd like to come to that a little by saying I think the process is also interesting of learning. And in that process, we do as the Goethe Institute try and offer programs for our partners like yours, programs which kind of tell you that if you learn a language, there are certain advantages as you go along too. Of course, you want to achieve something, and maybe I hope a lot of your students end up in German law schools to study. I was happy to hear Dr. Holland say what a lovely time he had in Germany when he went there for his studies. And I think a lot of your students, from what I understood when I visited your university, have the same ambition, and rightly so. So So what they will get in the future will definitely be good, but I think we at the Goethe Institute try and make the process also very interesting, or as interesting as we can. Sonali, can we see the next slide? Yeah. So we have, I haven't made too many slides, but we have a good network in South Asia for educational services. We offer a lot in schools, but considering we're dealing with you as a university today, I thought I'd make a little overview of what we do for our university partners. Yeah. We had a very interesting program last year. This was just when Corona started, on language and diversity, and also on diversity, where we asked students to just tell us what they thought diversity was. And it was quite impressive, the kind of inputs we got. So we keep doing programs like that, and urban spaces, what I was talking about. We did a program on professions for the future, where we had career counselors coming in and telling the students as to what are the advantages of learning German and where they could study further and what it could bring them. Yeah. We keep showing films on diversity as well, because we feel that's something, if you're planning to go abroad, if you're planning to sort of interact with others, you have to realize that the world is no longer monochrome. It has many colors, and we need to recognize them, accept them, and interact with them. On the more practical level, we do a lot of information sessions as well, together with the German Academic Exchange Service, the DAAD, as it's known in German, about study in Germany, work in Germany, and of course their careers, which are possible for German professionals. Mr. Goethe a little earlier said that as far as teacher training goes, we are leading, I think, across the globe. And keeping that repetition in mind, we have a constant programs. We have programs all the time on German teacher development, professional development. And of course, those, apart from the regular programs, we have at least once a year, we try to offer German teacher conferences, where over a span of 2-3 days, we have inputs from people from across the world to certain topics. On the last conference, I'm happy to note Shruti also participated, and Shruti had a very interesting input in that about what influences learning and what learning influences us. Shruti, what exactly was your topic? Would you like to repeat that? It was very interesting.
Influenzen lernen kann das Lernen influenzen.
Yeah, if you learn to influence, you can influence your learning. It was, I think, one of the most popular workshops of that particular conference that we had last August. And we do that on an annual basis. And of course, our cultural events and our competitions, we have a regular meet of teachers every month, where we discuss everything that's current affairs or what interests us. In German, it would probably be called a Stammtisch. For those of you who speak German, that's following the tradition where people meet regularly at the pub, at the Kneipe, to discuss everything and anything under the sun that interests them. We offer science film festivals as well for our students. This year, our topic is health and fitness, keeping in sync with the times. And of course, once again, a diversity film festival. I've just given a very few examples of what we do. We do try and engage all our students and work together with universities as much as we can. We support you and always tell all our partners, keep talking to us. If we remain in dialogue, I think we both have common aims, and so we will get there. And I think with JGU, it has been a very fruitful and a very good cooperation, thanks to Shruti constantly writing to me and saying, Puneet, can't we do this and can't we do that? She's full of ideas, and we're happy to cooperate with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Puneet.
And there's some figures. I know Mr. Birdle just said the figures are boring, but I just thought sorry, Shruti, that was one last thing. There's a few statistics about kind of partners we have and who all we support. You can see them split into various fields. We have a special network of PASH schools, which are our partner schools. This is a special program supported by the German Foreign Office, the PASH program. Then the other schools that we support. Then we have some state-run schools like the Kendriya Vidyalayas and the Navodayas. And of course, the adult group, that is your universities or other partners that we support. You can see these are figures which have gone up. And despite the pandemic, we haven't really seen a great reversal there in these figures. I won't like to elaborate on it. It's in front of you. But on the whole, we have seen some setbacks, but they've been minor. And we are very confident that given another year or two, I think we'll make up for these small setbacks that you've seen here and there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Puneet. Yeah, I can only reciprocate what you just said. we have been working, and I really want to also continue to work along with the Goethe Institute. The INDAF conference, they are just absolutely a delight to be a part of. The teachers, interacting with teachers, doing workshops with school teachers has been of great interest to me. And I also learn a lot in the course of preparing for such workshops as well. Well, I also want to just simply say, I think we are on the same wavelength. We've understood each other. I too wanted to, through my introductory remark, wanted to highlight how the process is important and not the end, right? So I think we've understood each other, and we do agree with each other already. Yes. So now I'd like to invite, with these words, Ms. Deepali Bajaj Singh. Deepali, I have known since she joined the Goethe Institute in 2006 as a teacher. And soon she became the trainer for others aspiring to teach at the Goethe Institute. She took over as the head of examinations in 2017, and after a very successful tenure as a head of examinations, she took over the reins of the language courses and examinations for Goethe Institute, New Delhi in 2020. Welcome you warmly, Deepali. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Shruti. Thank you, Professor Holland, and thank you, Professor Batra, for inviting us over. It is indeed a pleasure for us to be here amongst you all and amongst your students. And as Puneet just very warmly said, we've had a wonderful cooperation with Shruti. Puneet's department, the Educational Cooperation and Services Department, they've already had a very good cooperation with you and the university, Shruti, and we are also looking forward to working together with you in our department, in our area, which is language courses and examinations. Mr. Gödel gave everyone an overview about how the Goethe Institute is structured globally and what our global numbers are and how we operate globally. And then Puneet gave you certain insights into how the work in South Asia is carried out. And here I would like to speak about our language courses and examinations department in Delhi. And of course, there are certain commonalities for all the Goethe Institutes India-wide, but the numbers and all I have are for Delhi presently. Sonali, if you could just go back a click, please, one click back. I wanted to start with a picture of our beautiful premises in the heart of Delhi, and I wanted to give everyone a glimpse of our premises. Unfortunately, we can't be together in person. Hopefully, it'll be possible soon too, but I thought I can at least bring you all a glimpse of our beautiful villa in Connaught Place in Delhi. Thank you, Sonali. What our department offers and what we do as a major assignment, you can say, we offer language courses and examinations for German as a foreign language. Speaking about our language courses, as you can see, we have over 3,000, well over 3,000 learners per year in our language courses. And when I say this alone for Delhi. Mr. Gödel has already shared the counts for all of South Asia with you all. Our language courses correspond to the levels of the CEFR. And the CEFR is the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, and it spans from A1 to C2. And these are internationally recognized levels. You go to any country and show a certification for a particular level, and they immediately know what level, what competences you bring with you for that particular level. So this is something which is common throughout, and our courses are based upon this pattern. And our courses are recognized worldwide. Mr. Gödel has already spoken about our global presence, 158 institutes all over the world. So anywhere you go, you produce a certificate, you show a certificate from the Goethe Institute, they say, wow, okay, so you learn German at the Goethe Institute. So it is something which is worldwide recognized. Mr. Gödel and Puneet both mentioned about our teachers training program. We, of course, train teachers for our cooperation partners, as Puneet mentioned, for schools, for universities, for colleges. But we also have our internal teachers training program, which is a very, very time-intensive and effort-intensive program, I would say. And our teachers are qualified according to the most modern teaching methods and pedagogical tools that we have, and it's completely state-of-the-art teachers training program. So we can say that this is one of our USPs, our teachers, basically. Our language courses also, our students for the language courses, they also are offered a lot of other things apart from learning German as a foreign language. For example, we interact with our library colleagues and bring you the latest in information services. Our language course students also have they get information about all events that take place within our premises through the Goethe Institute. And they also get opportunities from and updates from other prospective employers, for example, who know that we offer courses, and they come to us and they send us their requirements, which we then are glad to pass on to our students if they get employment opportunities through that. Then, thank you, Sonali. Then we can see this slide. I think the title is the most important thing here. You want to learn German, we have the right course for you, which basically means that our learner groups are very varied and very vast. University students, working professionals, young learners who are school-going children, hobby learners, we have corporate clients, we do courses for companies and corporates, diplomats who are here and want to maybe move on to Germany or need German as a foreign language, they learn German with us. As Puneet mentioned previously, we interact with schools and colleges, so school heads and German as a foreign language teachers also want to learn German with us, and we do offer courses for them. And then, of course, we offer courses for specialized learning groups such as nursing professionals or for the gastronomy sector or for specific sectors when they have a specific requirement. So we are always glad to customize a course for your requirements. We offer our courses in multiple formats, as you can see, ranging from complete classroom courses where you are all present in a classroom in the traditional manner, face-to-face classes, to 100% live online courses, something in the format in which we are carrying out this panel discussion. Then we have recently introduced hybrid courses in which a part of the class is learning online live, and the other part of the same class is sitting in the course room, in the classroom, and learning from our premises. And there's complete live streaming and interaction happening between both the groups. So we have this format as well. Then we have the blended learning courses, which are partly on the learning platform. The Goethe Institute has its own learning platform, which is called meingoethe.de. It is a Moodle platform, and our courses are also taking place on that. Then we have 100% online learning platform. These have very limited online live sessions, and these offer a lot of flexibility to learners who wish to learn online but have time restrictions or otherwise are more independent learners and learn without much guidance from a teacher or much direct guidance from a teacher. So these courses are perfectly suited for them. And then we have Deutsch training online, which is a completely self-learning kind of a training in which a person books a course with us and can learn at their own pace, at their own speed, go back, go forth, and then basically decide how they learn themselves. They can completely determine their own learning by themselves. So these are the various formats in which we offer our courses. Thank you. Then, of course, we spoke about the formats. There are also various learning speeds we offer for our courses. As you can see, well, someone has a need for speed, they can do a super intensive courses. Someone learns steady, then they do our intensive courses. People who want to learn, but not so fast, they would like to learn slow, gradual, steadily. We have our extensive courses, which are spread over a longer period of time. And of course, as always, we can always customize a course for you if you wish to learn at your own pace. So then again, you want to learn German, we'll provide a solution for your learning requirements. And I spoke about the formats previously. You can learn online, in the classroom, on the platform, online live. This requires, of course, certain teaching, mentoring, and guidance. How is this constructed? We have courses with a teacher. These courses are completely guided by a teacher, of course, with a lot of autonomous learning in it, but the teacher is present throughout the course. Then we have online courses with a tutor plus independent learning. So I mentioned our blended learning courses, where about 50% of the time you will be directly guided by a teacher, and about 50% of the time you learn independently, and you will have a teacher somewhere in the background to fall back upon, but you are also determining your own learning tempo and learning requirements. And of course, trainings without a tutor, the one I just mentioned, Deutsch training online. You can see a small poster below this, and you are with your device, you're with a course. It's a very scientifically programmed training. I won't say course, it's a very scientifically programmed training. And a person guides herself or himself through the training based on the course content. And the course content guides you to the end of the training, basically. So we have these. That was all about our courses. Then coming to our examinations, Mr. Gödel again showed you the global numbers and our numbers for South Asia previously. Here I'm speaking alone for the institute in Delhi. In 2019, these numbers were even higher than this. They were well above 20,000 examinations. Together with the Goethe centers, which we mentor, so to say. And this year, despite it being a pandemic year, alone in Delhi, we've had 12,000, along with the centers, it's 20,000 examinations, which we've carried out. Then the next important point is the CEFR again, which I mentioned previously for our courses. So if you see this together, you can see this, see this interaction between the courses and the examinations, although they are two separate products, but the products communicate very well, because the courses are also based upon the CEFR principle, the CEFR Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. And exactly in the same manner, our examinations also correspond to the same CEFR, which means you can do an A1 course with us and take the A1 examination, which is the Start Deutsch 1 examination, which I'll just talk about briefly. But the course will prepare you for the examination. You can do the course alone, just for itself, just for the fun of learning, just because you want to learn a foreign language. But you can also do a course and then take the corresponding examination. So you will not just have the course participation certificate with you, but you will also have an internationally recognized level certificate for that particular CEFR level. As you can see, A1 to C2, A1 is the beginner level and C2 is the absolute highest level the CEFR has, and we have courses and examinations for all levels from, till, and in between. Then the very important point that our certifications are recognized worldwide. I had mentioned this previously for our course participation certificates, but certain universities, in fact, most universities and employers also like to see a certified level. And our so-called Goethe Zertifikate, which are our examinations, they provide this certification, which means on passing a particular level examination, you will be provided a certificate which will be valid throughout the world. Every country in the world, every embassy, every visa authority understands our certificates. Our examinations are ALTA affiliated. ALTA is the Association of Language Testers in Europe. This is an association which works with various European countries for various European languages. And the Goethe Institute has been affiliated with ALTA for quite some time now. And there is an ALTA stamp. Our certificates are stamped with the ALTA Segal, the stamp, so to say, which means they're again, they carry a very high worth. They are recognized everywhere because of this ALTA affiliation. There are ALTA audits. So the Goethe Institute is regularly audited for this to keep the compliance going, and which is how our standards are so continuously maintained. And of course, a very, very important point for university students that our examinations meet university and visa requirements. So people wishing to pursue even higher education there, and or needing to migrate to Germany for work purposes or for family reunion purposes, our examinations are, so to say, the language requirement fulfillment required for this particular visa or university need. So if you have a certificate from us, the visa authorities or the university authorities immediately know, yes, this level is certainly reached. Then you can see this is a graphic showing our examinations. As I've already mentioned, CER examinations correspond to all the CEFR levels. As you can see, certain examinations have been marked as high-stake examinations. I'll give you maybe 30 seconds. You can just take a look at the names of the examinations, and then I can speak a little more about this. So you can see that our examinations are spanning from A1 to C2. And below 4 particular examinations, you can also see Jugendliche Erwachsene. This means that these examinations are available for young learners as well as for adult learners. And though there is no bar on taking an examination, a young learner can also take an adult examination. But our recommendation is that they take the young learners examination and adult learners take the adult learners examination. Then you can also see that certain examinations, as I mentioned previously, are having the word high stake written in front of them. Why these examinations are so high stake is because they are literally speaking a ticket to something you might be aspiring for in life. So let us say the Goethe Zertifikat A1. So if you're looking, someone is looking for a family reunion or needing to move to Germany for a spouse visa, let us say. So the Goethe Zertifikat A1, which is the A1 level, the beginner level examination, will literally a past examination and examination certificate will make visa compliance a lot simpler, and the visa authorities will immediately tick the visa requirement for you in such a case. Then you can see that the B1 examination is also mentioned as a high stake examination. Certain universities also require a B1 certificate for higher education in Germany if people are wishing to study in Germany. And I believe then if you need to take citizenship in Germany, you also need to have a B1 level of German to be able to apply for German citizenship. Once you're present in Germany. The B2 examination was not always high stake, but it has become high stake in India. And this is a recent development because a lot of universities now are demanding a B2 certificate for providing admission to students for their particular master's programs, or mostly for master's programs. They require a B2 certification in language, and also for undergrad programs if the medium of instruction is German. So this too has lately become a high stake examination, the B2 examination. Then another information you can also, another important application of the B2 certificate are the healthcare professionals. A lot of healthcare, which Sonali will be speaking about this topic soon, but a lot of healthcare professionals are moving to Germany, and in Germany, there's a growing demand for healthcare professionals from all across the world. And India, with its excellent demographics, is a reason why our healthcare professionals could move to Germany, should move to Germany if they would like to. So they need to have a B2 certification in the German language to be able to either get an Ausbildungsplatz, which is a training place in Germany, or to get a job opportunity in Germany. So they need a B2 examination, which is also why B2 has now become a high stake examination. Then you can also see that the examinations, 3 particular examinations have been labeled as modular examinations, which means you don't have to take the examination in its entirety. You could, but you don't have to, which means if you've prepared 2 particular competences, let's say reading and writing, you could take 2 particular competences first and do the 2 remaining later, or as is, or at the higher level C2, sometimes a prospective employer would say, well, I just need my employee to write emails and doesn't necessarily need to speak, so not a problem. The student can take, the candidate can take the C2 written competence exam and clear that and present it to his or her prospective employer. So the modular construct of these examinations helps in taking them at a staggered pace, and they can always be taken in their entirety. That is never a problem. You can take either or. Then in 2 further examinations, which you can see below, are the test DAF examination. This is we are a test DAF cooperation partner. The Test Staff Institute cooperates with us, and we annually offer a certain number of examination dates, and we conduct the test staff examination locally on our premises, and a certain number of students can take this examination here with us. Again, a few universities, many universities in fact, demand a Test DAF certificate. So it is the Test Staff Institute which is the certifying authority in this case, but we are their cooperation partner and hence the exam conduction authority here in India for them. Then you can see two further examinations, the Goethe Test Pro and the GTP Pflege, which as it is called, it's the GTPP exam. The Goethe Test Pro is it is a scaled examination, as we call it, and it is basically a level testing examination. So a certain, let's say a prospective employer needs to test someone and say, well, so-and-so person has said that they have done certain courses, hasn't got a course certification, but we don't need a course, an exam certificate, but we just need to see what the level of the exam is. Then a person could take this and we can determine the level, language level on this basis, whether the person has an A2 or an A1, and we can also give different levels here and say, okay, A1 in reading, A2 in hearing, listening skills, etc. So this is a scaled examination in this manner. And the last of the series, as you can see, is the GTPP. This is a very recent product and a very interesting product. This is especially for healthcare professionals and nursing professionals seeking to move to Germany. This is called Goethe Test Pro Pflege. And it is a very specific examination which will help healthcare professionals, which first of all tests healthcare professionals and nursing professionals in their ability to speak to some extent the language in a professional nursing context. So the basis is already there. And this examination has recently been taken up by the visa authorities in the visa handbook. And for that reason, it is also an important examination for a nursing professional wishing to move to Germany. And when they produce a GTPP certificate, then the visa authorities should be able to tick the language requirement on their prerequisites list. Here, you can see this is recognition of various Goethe examinations for university aspirants. And if Sonali could click on this briefly, I can take just give a brief glimpse onto the website. I don't know if it'll work. If the link is working, I believe.
The link is working. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Maybe it's loading.
Just give me a moment.
Yeah. Sonali, can you enlarge this a little if possible? Would it work? I'm afraid this document is only available in German at the moment, but it's quite self-explanatory because on this shows what German Goethe Zertifikate, which are our exam certifications, are valid and accepted by which universities in Germany, and which of these is required. What university requires which level? So as you can see, maybe if you just if you have a C1 level, what universities would accept you, or the other way around, if you are seeking to enroll yourself for a particular program in a particular university, you can just check from this list what their language requirement is, and they will be you will be needing that particular level of certification. So you can attend the course and take the examination, reach the level required, and present your certificate for that particular level. It's a very comprehensive and long list. A blanket statement which I can make is that the C2 examination makes you eligible for a language for a study program anywhere at any of the universities across Germany. So if you have a C2 certification, you do not really need to check whether it will be accepted. It will definitely be accepted at all the universities across Germany. For B2 and C1 levels, you need to check. You can check with our list, and you can also double check with your university for their requirements. So the list is, Sonali, thanks. We can go back. The list is available on our website. The link is here. I will be glad to share the link with Shruti if required, and Shruti can definitely pass it on to the students. And you will find this comprehensive information on our website. And Sonali, yeah, exactly. This is just our contact page. We'll be very glad to share this with Shruti as well. And Shruti, of course, will be talking with each other regarding some kind of cooperation in the language courses and examinations area 2, segment 2. And you'll have all information from us. Thank you, Shruti. That was it from my end.
Thank you so much, Dipali, for this very, very comprehensive overview and insight into the language courses that the Goethe Institute offers and the examination. Now, we now go on to our next panelist, who is Miss Sonali Segal. And Sonali joined the Goethe Institute in the year 2013 as a German language teacher in the Goethe Institute Language Center in Gurgaon. Along with teaching, she's also worked as programs officer for a short while and then helped with course and examination registrations. And in 2020, she took over the role of a project manager for network expansion to help the Goethe Institute expand its reach and facilitate collaboration and partner tie-ups. Sonali.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Dr. Holland, and thank you, Dr. Batra, for giving us this opportunity. And we hope, as Mr. Gyorel said, and Dipali and Puneet, we can then work together also in the coming year and form some sort of synergies and take this all forward. In the beginning, Shruti had mentioned that learning is a process, which Puneet also quoted, and the process is important, and it's not the end only that should be kept in mind. So therefore, to achieve the end of having learned the German language and being good at it, we have at Goethe Institute a lot of means that can help you achieve that end. And I would like to begin with our library services. Our library before the pandemic was a vibrant place where people would come, would meet, would exchange ideas. We have a lot of books, magazines, etc. But of course, in the last 2 years, everything was shut. But we are now happy to inform you that the library is now open. Of course, we have certain days on which the library is open, and on our website, we have the calendar of dates when you can actually come and visit the library, take books, sit down and read, watch the videos, etc. But there are certain prerequisites that we have, and they, of course, I think are the same in all educational institutes today. You either have to be vaccinated with both shots, or you have to be recovered less than 6 months ago, or you have to have a negative RT-PCR report, which is not older than 72 hours. So these are the prerequisites. And if you fulfill these, you can come to our library on any of the days that we are open for public. What exactly do we have in our library? As I had mentioned, we have certain monthly events that we have, that we organize for the general public. You don't have to be a member of the library. These events are posted on our website. You can come and be a part of that. And one such event is the Spielzeit, which is a game time, loosely translated, where we play a lot of games where students come together, learners of German come together and play games in Germany. This tests their German. It is from all levels, starting from A1 to B2, we have these games. Again, the event dates, etc., timings are posted on our website. Then, as I had mentioned earlier, it was a meeting space, and we hope that next year again, we will see that kind of vibrancy in our library where people will come together. We will be able to host more events. We have a lot of events where we invite authors, we have book readings. So we hope that in 2022, we can restart and have a lot more events. And we would be more than happy to welcome you to our library and to such events. Then, of course, we have a lot of language learning material, a lot of magazines and newspapers, and state-of-the-art VR equipment where you can actually see certain videos and see how cities in Germany are. You can walk through the cities. You can also see, we're also planning to have some videos on different professions. So you actually see how these professions function. And so these are 3D, 3D movies, and you can actually get a feel, you're actually living that profession or that city. Then we have two new offerings this year. One is the Bib2Go, which is an app for all our library members. So you have to be a member of the library, and you can just download this app on your mobile or on your tablet, and you have our whole library in your pocket. So it's like a digital membership platform where you have everything at the tip of your fingers. Then we have also something called the OnLiar, which is a virtual library that allows you to borrow material free of charge. So it's a digital library, and you don't have to be a member. Everything is free here. You just have to register yourself. And I will just show you. Can you see my screen? Yeah, so this is the library that we have, the digital library. It has the instructions. Like I said, it is free of cost. It is open to everyone from A1 to C2. All language learners all over the world are welcome to use the 35,000 books that we have, the magazines, newspapers. We even have audiobooks for you. So everybody's more than welcome. We will pass on the link to Shruti, and she can then probably pass it on to all of you. So that was about the library. What are the other offerings that we have for learners of German? We also organize seminars on intercultural sensitization. So learning the language is one part of it, but you also have to know culture and interculture. How do we, how as Indians do we respond, and how do we interact with another culture? And we have seminars on those, again, very interactive seminars. Then we also have seminars on qualification and qualification recognition by pro recognition. It is a part of the IGCC, the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, and they organize these seminars from time to time, and we also are part of a lot of these seminars for certain professions, but we hope to enlarge our palette in that. Then from next year onwards, we are also planning to start seminars on the visa procedures and requirements that are required by students and working professionals in collaboration with the German embassy. And we would be more than glad to invite you, or we could, if possible, arrange for such a seminar again on your campus. But that again is for next year, and we will then be able to work out the requirements closer to date as and when we get them on board. Then lastly, and very, very important, are that we also have seminars, and as Dipali had mentioned, courses for skilled workers. So right now we're only offering courses for nursing professionals, but as you would know, there is a large demand of skilled workers in Germany, and there is a list of these skilled workers that has been put out by the German government and is available with the German embassy. And from time to time, we also have seminars on and tell you about these professions. We have done a few seminars in collaboration with Puneet for the school students, and we would also like to do some seminars like this with OP Jindal, because you already have certain schools. Shruti mentioned you have 12 schools, and I think one, if I'm not mistaken, is human human development and health and human development, if I'm not mistaken. And this is also one of the sectors that we are looking at, and this is also a skilled worker sector, and also environmental technology, which I'm 100% sure you have a school, you have environmental engineering, environmental technology, and that is an area where Germany is looking for people. Then again, another offering that we have for our language learners is our web portal, which is, and especially students who are looking to move to Germany, but not only limited to them. We have our web portal, which is called Mein Weg nach Deutschland. You can start as early as middle of A1 and carry on from there. What do we offer here? Excuse me. We have different categories of, different categories that we have on our web portal. You have games that will help you. You have information that will help you. You have podcasts that will help you. And each information segment is divided into categories. So the first category that we have is living in Germany. So you have all the information about living in Germany, life, the school, everyday life, working, etc. Then I mentioned podcasts. You have podcasts. We actually have 5 people speaking about, and they're all migrant workers who moved to Germany. So there's a car mechanic, there is a teacher, there is a restaurant manager. They are all telling you about how they came to Germany and how they started with their life in Germany. This, of course, is like a level of B1 onwards. Then very interestingly, we have games and we have apps that will help you practice your German. And as I mentioned, it goes from A1 to C2. So we have it all covered. And it's very simple. You can just get onto the website and you just download the games and you can play them. It's German language with certain words translated. Certain are comic based, so it's not very difficult to understand. You see the pictures and you can understand what's happening, and then you play the game. So it's very, very interactive. Yeah, this again is the games I was mentioning, the special educational, the Lernspiele as we call them. So we have one which is specially designed for nursing professionals, for nurses. Gives you an insight into the life of a nurse. You could, it's just, again, vocabulary training and interaction in a hospital. Then we have another one called Super Health on Campus, which is basically superheroes. And this again is training in certain occupations. So if you're an engineer, an IT professional, you have a background in environmental sciences, these levels, these games actually help you with the language. And these games start from then A2. Then we have for teachers, this would be interesting for Shruti. We have a lot of material also for teachers and for the teachers who would probably come later and join OP Jindal and take our German language forward with Shruti. So we have a lot of material for them. We have ideas about how they can use this portal in the class, and also a lot of extra study material, videos, listening books that you can practice your listening with. Then this is something that is very new, and this is what we actually plan doing with at OP Jindal. This is a info house. You already have something like this in collaboration with Alliance Française for French, and we would like to do this now for German. This is okay, so this is actually an info house, an information house. This was originally planned for, can you see the flyer? Yeah, okay, this was originally planned for people who were migrants who were coming into Germany, and this was the first, this was help for people who had already come into Germany. We are planning to redesign this, and we are planning to have this, place it in certain places, which will help students, which will help German language learners, etc., find information about German and Germany. Again, living in Germany, the education system, the family life. It will have a lot of material, flyers, grammar exercises that will help you. And it'll also have, it also has a tiny tablet where we again have access to the portal. We'll have these games over there. You can download apps on your own mobile and then play it on that and get your answers through this information house. So this is what we plan next year once everything opens up, and we can probably install this either in your library, or if you could give us like a small space that we can decide with Shruti later. And yeah, so that was the information house that we plan to have with OP Jindal. And what are our other forms of collaboration that we have? We have already collaborated with universities where we offer credit courses. So like with, I can mention one with IIM Sirmaur, we have a credit course where it's a 1 credit course, and our teachers then take the course for them, and we hold the examinations and give them the results, and then it is given on their mark sheet or on once they pass out. Then we have also collaborated with certain universities wherein we offer language courses and as an add-on. So you do not want it as your standard credit course, but a lot of students want to learn the language. So maybe in the evenings twice a week, we offer those as well. But so, and then of course, examinations. This is an ongoing, again, discussion, which hopefully will fructify by next year when the campus opens, wherein when we have a certain number of students who are willing to take the examinations, we actually come to you and hold the examinations rather than your students coming all the way to Delhi and having to write the examinations. So these are the 3 ways that we are collaborating with other universities as well. And hopefully some of this will materialize with you as well. Yes, that is all from our end. That was the information that we had. And yes, thank you. And thank you for the opportunity, giving us this opportunity to present Goethe to you and to tell you why Goethe does matter after all.
Well, thank you so much, Sonali. Well, Goethe does matter, and though it was formulated a little in a provocative fashion, I think I, like Dipali and like you, Sonali, I think we are products of the Goethe Institute. So we don't need to be convinced, but yes, we know our Nachwuchs, students who are now here to learn and do see scope in learning the language, also know that Goethe matters. Thank you so much. I have a couple of questions before I open the floor to the students and to the other colleagues who have joined us today. You did mention the Goethe Pay, the Goethe Test pro Pflege, Bali, and Sonali, you as well, right? So obviously, I mean, when you're at a university, you are looking at language courses. That's something that I'm doing at present. Doing purely language courses, it's Allgemein Deutsch, it's just general language. However, there is a requirement to university, I mean, just by nature, that there is some kind of an interdisciplinarity. There is cross-school collaboration also, yeah, where we think, so if I'm dealing with business students, then that I do a course, German business course, German for business students. Similarly, there has been a very big demand for German for lawyers, law students, and that's where I tried to find out ways and means of making this little gap fill, yeah, but I could not. Is there any way the Goethe Institute can help me with the content and language learning, integrated language learning? Because that is something that I'm really interested in developing. This is a course because it is going to help many, many students, the law students being the majority of students at the OP Jindal Global University. So you can imagine how important it is. And there are many students who have approached me, not only students, but also professors of law, and who, for example, have wanted to learn basics of legal language, for example. How do I do that? Not being from legal background myself, for example, right? So that's one challenge that I've faced because my immersion has been in German studies, literature, translation, linguistics. Yeah, that's how I've learned it. And how do I go about teaching law students, for example, the language? I know you've been working with schools, MINT programs. You have your MINT programs. You're doing now, for example, this for nurses. but then this would be perhaps also of great importance, if you could do seminars or a kind of a training for university teachers, because this is something that is required. That's one thing that I can already think of at the moment. There's another question, but I think that'll come. I'll just now like to open the floor for questions.
Yeah, Shruti, maybe before you open this thing, if I could just respond to your question.
Yes.
If you're talking about studying law in Germany, I believe for a Jurastudium, you need to have a C2 level, which is the requirement to be able to study Jura or law in Germany. So they have this kind of requirement. I believe it is C2 for lawyers specifically. But if you talk about building it up and reaching that level, and maybe with a little bit of Fachsprache or professional language and all, so maybe one can start with Allgemeinsprache, and maybe we can discuss this bilaterally to see what options are available there, maybe for teachers training or for the course content as such. So this is something we could look into bilaterally then.
That'll be great. That'll be really great. The point was, I've also inquired a little bit about it, and all institutions in Germany do such courses. There are courses for Deutsch für Rechtsanwälte, for example. They do exist. The thing is that they require at least a B2 for that, not C2, but B2. Yeah, for these courses, and then obviously they can work on it further. But B2 is definitely required. So then how do you work with students who've still not achieved that level? And can we still work with the Fachsprache? Can we still, do a course that is still meaningful for a student, a 30 hour course, for example, in a semester, elective course? Even that much, I think, would be good for a beginning, and then we can work on it further on. So this was my idea, basically. But yes, we can obviously talk about it, and as you said, bilaterally, it will be really great. Yes.
Yeah, because that's a very specific question and a very customized question for a very customized context. So that is something which we will need to look into together. But as you yourself rightly mentioned, you need a certain level to be able to understand that particular Fachsprache. So like B2 is the premise on which the further courses would be based. So that is exactly what I meant, that you need to do a certain level of Allgemeinsprache, general language requirements you need to meet before you're able to do such a course with so much Fachsprache in it. And we can look into a course content and see if something can be added in the Allgemeinsprache to make it possible for them to understand something at that level.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any questions or observations? Would you like to share experiences? We've all been learning German here. And we have our colleague Deepak Mon from the Institute of Higher Education of the JGU. He's also joined us here. Any questions?
Well, let's see.
That's Devanjan. All right. Yeah.
Apologies, I can't come on camera right now. But I was wondering how the relative syllabi of these different levels of the courses that were given to us would be like, because we are presently in our third year, and of course, I suppose the higher level exams would be much harder. But say if you want to start with the C-level exams, how would the syllabi look like, the syllabus for those?
Well, Devanjan is level 3, but Devanjan, you're still doing A1. Just so that all of you know, I told you we've separated. I mean, we do A1 and A2. It is spread over 8 semesters. Devanjan is at level 3, which means he's still doing an A1. And till C2, there is a long time, really. C level is really the highest level, the advanced level. But Herr Gödel wants to say something. Please.
I just wanted to add maybe 2 or 3 points. Maybe your students could ask themselves, why should I learn German? The answer is everybody knows English. I'm quite sure that all of your students are perfect in English. And this is nowadays, knowing English language is not a qualification anymore, it's a must. So, but what makes the difference? The difference makes if you know beside English any other language which matters. And to choose German language for Indians, it's a very good choose, because we have a very good universities in Germany which are almost for free. So you can continue or you can study in Germany in high quality universities without paying a lot of money. That's one point. Then we have a lot of jobs, very good jobs in Germany that you could acquire with the knowledge of German. So that means a difference. And also you mentioned that you have a lot of law students, and Professor Holland also mentioned our law system. You might know that our former president of the Goethe Institute was Professor Limbach. She was working for many years as most of the famous lawyers in Germany. She was on the, I think it's the German High Court, Bundesverfassungsgericht. And when she has been the president of the Goethe Institute, she always said, one very important export matter for Germany is also our law system, which is good. And so Germany also is interesting for lawyers to getting to know our law system and maybe working as a lawyer in international law, German, India. So there are lots of opportunities, not only with German, also with other languages, but choosing German is really a good opportunity. And maybe one more observation, we are not going to make a brain drain in offering jobs for Indian, because India has so many high qualified people. So in these maybe thousands who are going to Germany, it will not be a brain drain for India, because you have a lot of them and we need a lot of them. So that's also very important for us. We can do this in India without any problems, because the Indian market is so huge. You have so many high qualified, young, intelligent people. So study German, come to us. And I think it's really a good idea. That's what I wanted to add to our discussion.
Thank you so much, Gödel. Another point that came to my mind was, and that's something that is also interesting for me, because I've been practicing it consistently in my career here at the JGU, and that is the inclusion of arts and performative arts, or arts in general, in the learning process. So now the Goethe Institute has a cultural wing, and that is something that we definitely, as an institution, university, and the cultural institute that the Goethe Institute is, right? If we could also maybe have some ties, some kind of workshops for students, where, for example, if we have interesting, artists coming over and doing things, maybe we learn German songs, we learn German dance forms, at that level. And when we're talking about enhancing the learning possibilities, the learning experience of students while they're at the university, I think this is a very important aspect. We do something there as well.
Yeah, if I may add, answer that, we have a separate program department, as you know, and but during the pandemic we were shut, but we do have exhibitions and we do hold events. So we could start a discussion with them, and maybe we could, since we're always looking for space, not only inside the institute but also outside, to spread the culture. I'm sure we would be the program department would be happy to partner with OP Jindal, and we could probably bring something to your campus. But having said that, we will need to discuss that with our program department, but it is a possibility.
Absolutely. Because I remember we had such lovely performers during the INDAF, for example, or you have guests anyway. So, if we could then also invite them to the universities, extend their, Aufenthalt to JGU as well, and that they could actually then also spread that kind of energy and creativity and that zeal, that zest that they bring with them, even among students. That's very important, I feel. to motivate students. And I mean, why only culture, and also at the level of food, for example? I mean, I just, I mean, I've always looked forward to, maybe Backstunden or something. These are the kind of experiential things that one can actually then also do along with the students in order to then also bring them closer to the culture, for example. Just a small little Kartoffelsalat or something. But then obviously there are a lot of things that we cannot bring on the campus, but interesting things that are being done and that we become a part of it, if possible. That's also something that I really would admire and enjoy myself, and I'm sure my students would enjoy that too.
I think Puneet has already arranged that with some schools, so maybe we could also do it with your students as well.
Yes, why not?
Definitely, why not? Of course, we'll talk about it, Shruti.
Yes. There are a lot of students who are also part of the theater performances that we had last time. The performances that they were, Shochitro is there, Ryan, you're there. What a pity you cannot see them face to face, really. I mean, what a pity. But I'm sure we will have the opportunity to invite you over, and that we will also be able to see and interact with the students face to face. Professor Holland, do you want to say anything? I thought you were saying something.
No, I only wanted to say that also cultural exchanges, educational exchanges between JGU and German universities are very, very important. And Shruti, could you tell us a little bit about which German universities Jindal has some relationship with?
I'm not sure about that, but there are a couple of them. The JGBS, for example, I think they were working, the JSGP has an ongoing partnership with the University of Göttingen. Yes, there are a couple of them, but yes, I mean, there are very subject-specific partnerships that are on, so it's either the business people, professors of business doing their own partnerships, or I think even the law teachers, a couple of law teachers have then also initiated partnerships, but I'm not aware of those. That was another thing that is also very important. And thank you so much, Professor Holland, for raising this, because even for our VC, I don't know if you remember this, Puneet, the last time you came, how important it was to then also have this kind of an academic exchange and partnership with universities. He underlined the term academic research. That is something that perhaps is also very, very important for a university. And I think it is at this level where there might be significant barriers. I don't know if we can overcome these barriers, because how do we then work on networking, for example? But I think after having joined the Get Vico 24, it was a conference, a world conference, of where so many professors and so many teachers, German language teachers, participated, where we have the option of networking as well. And I feel that was really, really good it was very fruitful for me, a fruitful interaction where I did interact with people, and I did have the opportunity of interacting and then also, discussing things. So there are opportunities, and I feel that is one thing, that's why I feel the Goethe Institute is a platform which can really help here. So I'm already answering on your behalf, sorry, but that was my experience. Gödel, would you like to say anything there?
You mentioned the Get Vico. It's a format which was invented in the US a few years ago. It was the German Teachers Virtual Conference, Get Vico, and we developed it into a 24-hour format into 3 or 4 time zones. So it started in the US, and my colleagues there in North and South America, they had a lot of panels or workshops. I think it was for about 6 or 7 hours. And then it turned around the globe to the next time zone, which was in South Asia, to my colleagues there, Tokyo, Seoul, and Japan, all these countries, they took over for the next 8 or so hours with also workshops and so on. And then we took over here in South Asia with more than 1,000 participants also. And then it got back to Munich, to our headquarters. And so we made a trip around the world in 24 hours in different time zones. And it was really amazing. And one of the formats we invented in the pandemic, and also what we are doing today, we have an online conference which is working very well. And we have a really big outreach. We have many participants, especially here in India. When Puneet organizes events in her department, sometimes we have more than 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 participants, which is really amazing, and which is showing how big the interest in the Goethe Institute here in India is. We hardly have these numbers in other countries. So if you're organizing in Europe an online meeting, you would never get these numbers like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 participants. This is really amazing. And this is what makes me so satisfied to be here in India, to work here with you, because we have large numbers and we have really very, very good students, which they know what they want. When they begin to start German, they have a goal. And they know, I want to reach B1, let's say, in 5 to 6 months. What do I have to do? And then we are offering them something, and they are achieving the goal. And then they are going to study, or they're going to work, or whatever they want with the German language. This is really amazing. How I think Professor Holland knows this better than me, because he has been working with Indian students. This is really impressing how good they are. And how I don't know how to say in English, how they are following their path to the goal they have. This is really impressive, and that makes the work here in India really satisfying.
Thank you so much. I'd like to now request Professor Batra to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Professor Batra, please unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, I didn't actually unmute myself. Well, thank you so much, Shruti, and Mr. Thomas Gordon, the Director of Language Program South Asia at Goethe Institute, Ms. Puneet Kaur, Head of Education Services, Ms. Deepali Bajaj Singh, Head of Language Courses and Examinations, Ms. Sonali Segal, Project Manager. Of course, Professor Kenneth Holland, Dean of Academics at Jindal University, and Dr. Shruti Jain, Associate Professor. It was a pleasure, listening to all of you. And there's a lot that was actually not known to me. And this was really a revelation when Shruti, said that Goethe had actually stressed delight in the process of imparting education. And Director Godel said, there are some 20,000 students learning German in India. And I believe there must be many more, because this is the number that is directly connected to Goethe Institute in Delhi. But there are teachers, who are actually hired in individual schools and colleges who are teaching, after getting training from your institute or elsewhere. So the number might run into lakhs maybe. So that speaks volumes about the popularity of German language in India. And Ms. Deepali Singh, told us about different courses and exam pattern and several benefits of learning German. And I think the students here naturally must have taken their cues. Ms. Sonali Segal, showed us virtually the library, the learning material. She told us about learning material and the various events that are held at the Goethe Institute. What I wish to add here is that India and Germany are actually joined at the roots, and there are cultural links. Germans, those who actually started it all, basically Max Müller was the starting point, because he was the one who translated Rig Veda and Upanishads into German. And that was the opening of the domain of ancient Indian philosophy for the West. And how exactly he was infatuated that when he found, there was some kind of common ancestry also in Aryans, for Indians as well as Germans. Coming now to our present times, we have great leaders in both the countries, whether it's Modi or Angela Merkel, who just laid down office. They got immense popularity. So all this again, gives us confidence to go ahead and learn German. And I think students who have attended the seminar and those who will be coming, who will be knowing more about this, through YouTube channel, etc., will feel encouraged to learn German. My good wishes to Dr. Shruti Jain and the students who are present here. Thank you very much, our honorable guests who enlightened us about all these courses and the benefits of learning language. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Batra. And thank you so much once again to all our esteemed guest panelists. All right, I guess you have to leave now. Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shruti, and thank you everyone for this opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.